Today, after several weeks of meetings, of discussions, of briefings with staff and interested persons, we are proud to present the House Republican plan to address our pension crisis in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. We do so in a fiscally responsible manner. We do so all without borrowing. We do so all within the framework of the governor's plan and without touching or raiding in any way the permanent fund set up and set aside by the governor.
We establish in law a base contribution, making it permanent and effective. So we take the governor's contribution to KTRS that he offered in his budget, we establish a base contribution in statute, and we run all contributions through the payroll in order to pick up the federal match from employers. By doing it this way, we're able to actually increase the contribution amount from the governor's original proposal. Number two, we provide stability to the system and to the members. We set in motion a permanent funding plan which fully funds the KTRS ARC. Number three, we phase this in over a short period of time. So we go back to last summer with the KTRS working group, and we talked at length about different ways to phase in to fully funding the ARC. In other words, it isn't necessary to fully fund the ARC in year one, so long as we are in a committed phase-in plan, and the shorter the better. And this plan is about as short a phase-in as possible.
We need to pass public policy that allows us to have good economic growth in Kentucky, and shoring up these pensions is exactly what we need to do. Now, Governor Bevin ran on the mantra, "We are Kentucky," and he won by a landslide. And what we're going to do here is we have a House overmatch amendment that takes the governor's direct funding, it runs it through our normal payroll process, and through that mechanism we're going to capture federal funding to help us enhance the ARC. It's clear to the Republican House anyway, the taxpayers want state government to be the adults in the room. And we need to make the hard choices to get Kentucky back on solid financial footing. Now, through the creation of this overmatch funding, or overmatch program, we're funding the highest ARC that's fiscally possible. We do this and leave the governor's $500 million emergency lockbox intact, and we preserve the governor's emergency match program if revenue forecasts come in as expected.
If we take a look at our graph, what we have done simply by running the governor's payroll, or the governor's proposal through payroll, we're able to boost with the capture of federal dollars. If you look at the next 2 years, the ARC payment would be $130.7 million. If we do the House overreach amendment by running the governor's budget through payroll, we were able to pick up an additional $182.6 million to add on top of the ARC. If we reach the higher projections, and let me stop for just a moment, the governor has based his budget on conservative forecasts. I think the average Kentuckian knows when they do their home budget, they can't budget on money they don't have. They budget on the money they have. And if they get an additional revenue of some point, be it a bonus or a lump sum payment, they can't make their budget based on that. And that's what the governor has done. He has done the conservative approach. However, there are other forecasts, and if those forecasts come to be, then a percentage of that will also go to the pension. In his estimation, in the first year, $32.1 million. If we run that through payroll, we get an additional $58.6. So just by taking this approach, we're able to put a lot more money into the pension systems than just covering the ARC. As you're well aware, a few years ago we passed the pension reform in which it made the legislature have to fund the ARC, and that's what we did 2 years ago. What we're doing is putting a lot more money over top of the ARC, which is unprecedented, and it sends a strong statement and message to not only the state employees, but also to the taxpayers of Kentucky and to the bond agencies that are watching our movements this week.